In my video, we're going to be talking about the pre-industrial revolutions, agriculture, and how it changed the way that people live. Before the Industrial Revolution, agricultural workers labored 6 days a week from sunup to sundown just to keep their crops growing. Certain seasons were more demanding than others, specifically the plowing and harvest seasons. Farming before the Industrial Revolution was traditional open field farming, which was based on subsistence farming. This meant that villagers would only produce enough food to satisfy the basic needs of the community, which consisted of peasants or tenants of the landowner. The agricultural revolution of the 18th century paved the way for the Industrial Revolution in Britain. New farming techniques and improved livestock breeding led to amplified food production. This allowed a spike in population and increased health. The new farming techniques also led to an enclosure movement. The invention that made this all possible was the seed drill, made by Jethro Tull. The seed drill was a major innovation that was able to plant seeds in the earth instead of on the surface, which would cause the seeds to be blown away or eaten by animals. The innovation greatly increased crop yields simply by inserting the seeds into the ground. We all know that crops need sun, water, and good soil to grow, but the fertilizer was the main source of growth in the Industrial Revolution. The fertilizer, also known as the turnip king, was mixed with other crops to help them grow better, since those were better fertilized because they had a better water intake than the other crops. One of the major techniques that help in the everyday labor of agriculture is crop rotation. Crop rotation can help to manage the soil and fertility. It can also reduce erosion, improve your soil's health, and increase the nutrients available for your crops. As this evolution of agriculture continued, the population of Great Britain increased from 5 million to 9 million. This was because of infant mortality. Infant mortality is the death of an infant before his or her first birthday. The infant mortality rate became very good over the past years from all the advancements in the technology of agriculture. The Industrial Revolution brought the movement of people to cities, changes in farming, soaring population growth, and an ever-increasing demand for workers led masses of people to migrate from farms to cities. Almost overnight, small towns around coal or iron mines turned into cities. After all of this, then comes another historical event called the factory system. The factory system occurred in the textile industry, where a series of inventions created new demands for laborers. Between 1733 and 1793, inventors produced new machines, such as the flying shuttle, which was one of the key developments in the industrialization of weaving during the early Industrial Revolution. It allowed a single weaver to weave much wider fabrics, and it could be mechanized, allowing for automatic machine looms. The spinning jenny was a machine that used 8 spindles onto which the thread was spun. So by turning a single wheel, the operator could spin 8 threads at once. And finally, a water-powered loom that speeded up the spinning and weaving of wool and cotton. Many new machines were powered by running water, so inventors built spinning mills near Riverside, hired many workers to run the machines. The machines led to the growth of the factory system, which brought workers and machines together in one place to manufacture goods. By the late 1700s, steam began to replace water as a source of power. Inventors such as Storrs Newcomen and James Watt improved the steam-powered engine. Steam engines gave a boost to 2 other industries that were essential to the Industrial Revolution, which were coal and iron. New processes were developed to produce stronger iron. In the mid-1800s, Henry Bessemer developed a process to improve the production of steel, a mixture of iron and other materials. Steel triggered the growth of steel under industries. During the Industrial Revolution, advances were made in transportation and communication. In Britain, roads made of longer-lasting surfaces and canals connected all parts of the nation. A mining engineer, George Stephenson, developed the first steam-powered locomotive, opening the way for the building of railroads. Railroads and steam-powered ships improved transportation around the world. In 1837, an American inventor, Samuel F.B. Morse, devised the telegraph, which revolutionized communications. Britain took a huge lead and enjoyed many of the advantages that helped it take the lead in the Industrial Revolution. It had plentiful iron and coal resources and a good transportation system. It was a leading commercial power, so merchants had the capital to invest in new enterprises. It had colonies that supplied raw materials and brought finished goods. The British government found out of Great Britain's advantages that helped it take over the Industrial Revolution, which encouraged them to improve the transportation and use its navy to protect British trade. Finally, the British accepted the idea that people could move ahead in society by hard work and talent.